Before Lil Conscious would become a master of two different worlds, music and the dark web, releasing hit songs like Ashes and Bojak. Before Lil Conscious would go viral after Drake posted a video of himself dancing to Bojak on his social media feeds. Before Lil Conscious would save our skin, helping the Before They Were Famous channel navigate the murky waters of the dark side of the internet after we got hacked just last month. Actually, I think it was like 2 weeks ago. Very stressful time. Literally, boom! Like all of our content, it was removed, and then the channel, it got deleted from YouTube. For over 24 hours before they were famous, it ceased to exist on all of YouTube. It truly was before they were gone. And needless to say, well, all of us here at the office, well, we were absolutely losing our minds. Now, Lil Conscious, he's easily one of the most mysterious presences on the internet. Now, the man's name, it began to go viral back in October of 2019 after Drake, he posted a snippet on his Instagram dancing to one of Lil Conscious's tracks. But beyond that, well, there isn't a whole lot known about this mysterious artist. That is, until today. Now, early on in his life, Lil Conscious, he felt different from everyone else around him. He felt as if he was living a double life. Now, eventually, he would develop his alter ego of Lil Conscious to scour the dark web and send out his thoughts, emotions, and his most creative imaginings through his music. But after releasing an early flurry of mixtapes like Barely Conscious, Conscious, and Phase 1, well, Lil Conscious, he would basically fall off the face of the earth. Now, where did he go and how did he manage to find his way back? Well, you're about to find out. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Michael McCrudden back at it again with a brand new video, this time taking a look at the life and career of Lil Conscious prior to fame. Here for you, of course, on Before They Were Famous. Now, like I mentioned earlier, with Lil Conscious, he helped us get our channel back up and running following a hacker getting us deleted from the internet. So this video, it's our way of, showing him how much we appreciate all his help. Now, I know a lot of people out there, they dream of one day having their own story be told here on Before They Were Famous. So this just goes to show you, it can really happen for anyone. All right, now let's get into this video. Lil Conscious was born Stefan Islas on May 27, 1995 in Alpine, Texas. Now, his mother's name is Zenja Aguilar and his father's name is Charles Ross. Now, for a short period of time, he grew up with both of his parents in the extremely small town of Sierra Blanca. That's in Texas, a village with not much more than 700 people living inside the town. I say that weird? Whatever, let's keep it. Before long, well, Stefan's parents, they would split up, and after that, well, his father was no longer as much a part of his life as he would have liked. Now, eventually, both of his parents, they would remarry, and while it took Stefan some time to warm up to the idea of having two families, well, these days, he can't imagine his life without his step-parents and his siblings. I'm talking Carlos, Ija, and Noah. Shout-outs to them. Of course, living your life in a small town of only a few hundred people, it means there isn't a whole lot to do. So Stefan, he and his siblings, well, they had to entertain themselves most of the time. Now, at least Texas, it is a ton of open space because for the most part, well, he spent his childhood outside, climbing mountains, building forts, shooting hoops 2-on-2, and taking part in neighborhood cookouts. Outside of these activities, he also liked to play football, basketball, and he practiced in track and field, and this was during his days in school. Now, in fact, Stefan, he became the only kid in the history of his school to make it to the state finals in track and field. Now, speaking on his education, well, Stefan, he attended Sierra Blanca Independent School from kindergarten through to grade 12. Now, as a student there, well, his favorite class was history because he'd always ace the tests and quizzes thanks to his obsession with watching the History Channel. I love that guy from Ancient Aliens. He's the best.
This ties in directly with the idea of misunderstood technology.
Now, it was during his later years at high school that Stefan began creating music for the first time. Now, in 2014, he released his first mixtape, Barely Conscious, and over the next 12 months, well, he'd release further mixtapes like Conscious and Phase 1. But after graduating high school, well, Stefan's music development, it would take a back seat as he attended Sul Ross State University. Now, after earning himself a bachelor's in history, will he continue on with his education at Sul Ross, and he's currently in the middle of completing a master's in education. Now, as you can imagine, growing up in a small town like Sierra Blanca, well, that can be both a blessing and a curse. On the one hand, it meant that Stefan, he is one of those rare individuals blessed with having the same group of friends for most of his life. But on the other, well, familiarity, it can oftentimes breed contempt. So by the time Stefan headed to Sul Ross State University, well, he was decidedly ready for a new chapter in his life to begin. The question was, what would the next chapter be? Well, for a short period of time, Stefan worked as a server at a restaurant known as 12 Gauge, based out of Marathon, Texas. Now, despite being located in yet another small town, 12 Gauge, it's actually a pretty popular establishment with world-famous clientele like Anthony Bourdain and even Kawhi Leonard. Now, during his time there, well, Stefan would serve both those men along with other famous individuals like the entire cast of The Walking Dead. But as interesting as that gig was, sometimes it wasn't meant to be for Stefan. Now, Stefan, he felt like he was always searching for his path, and then in 2016, well, his journey of self-discovery, it brought him back to his passion for music, while at the same time, it introduced him to a wrinkle into the fold. I'm talking, of course, about the dark web. Now, over the next few years, well, Stefan, he would teach himself how to hack pretty much anything and everything with the help of a book discovered at his university library. Ever since that moment, well, Stefan, he's never looked back, and he's utilized the knowledge and skills he's acquired in the back alley of the internet to further his own career. Stefan created the moniker of Lil Conscious without ever telling anyone else about his new alter ego. Now, if you're wondering where the name comes from, well, it's in honor of Kodak Black's song called Conscious, which for the longest time, it was Stefan's favorite track. As Stefan's technological and music skills advanced, so did his spiritual side. Now, by dedicating himself to personal and spiritual growth, well, Stefan, he says that he was able to open what is known as his third eye, and he has since found a level of spiritual calm that most of us, well, we can only dream of achieving. I'll tell you, I definitely didn't have it when we got hacked. Dude, I was the opposite of calm. I was a tornado.
Seems to symbolize the ability to contact and communicate with the higher spiritual realms using this secret symbol.
In 2016, all of his social media profiles, along with his millions of followers, they got wiped clean under mysterious circumstances. That's right, they be coming after all of us. But Stefan would return to the online world in 2019 as his alter ego, Lil Conscious. Now, that year, he'd start all over and release the killer track Bojak, following it up with a few more like Ashes. Since then, he's also released some features with Trippy Red over on his Soundcloud page, and he dropped some animated clips for those tracks via his Instagram. At the very beginning of his career, all Lil Conscious wanted to do was find himself a record deal and get the attention of a label. But after the years of growth he's undertaken, well, he's no longer worried about such things. He understands the universe, it has a way of working itself out in these matters. These days, he says he's rejected six-figure deals from labels because he's doing just fine and dandy without them. Now, he's manifested everything of importance in his life to this point, and it's only a matter of time until his moment in the music industry, it comes into fruition. I think he actually manifested it before they're famous, and it just happened. As for the rest of the story, well, I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see because this is before they're famous. Also, big shout out to Lil Conscious. I was like freaking out when we got cyber attacked, and I guess it just helps to know someone who knows what's going on. So, thanks a lot. Appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in another video. Boom!